welcome to NJPW-World Review. Hello, I am Andracy. I did that backwards. I'm Andracy, and right over here, the co-host herself. It's the angry taco princess herself. It's Melball.
What am I angry about?
I don't
Oh,
know.
yes, I'm angry. Yeah. Like I just had a goldfish moment there. Holy heckin' crap!
We just literally had a conversation before we went on air, and she was angry and
And you hit
bitter.
record, and it was just like gone.
We are here to talk some NJPW, the G1 Climax Nights number 15 and 16. I absolutely loved it. I really had a good time watching these shows.
These are fun. I didn't get through all of the second show. Like I got the block matches, and I think about 2 or 3 of the undercard. But I did get through all of the undercard for the August 8th show.
I'll admit,
Holy
I only took notes for the finishes on the undercard matches, so I don't really have
That's
any
fair.
play-by-play for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry.
We'll
Life's
sum
been
it
busy.
up.
We got so much wrestling, and we still have
much.
we have the semifinal, we have the quarterfinal show to do, the semifinal show to do, and the final show to do. That'll all be coming out Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then we'll have so much Stardom to catch up on at that point too. So
much.
So much. But I want to thank all of you for tuning in to all of our shows, NJPW Puroresu Review, Stardom Review, and Chopped Off. Thank you all so very much. Thank you for liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and thank you for all the great comments from all you guys. Really, really do appreciate them. And also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're
going to get into it. That's how me and Mel greet each other every time we jump on the screen together. Hello. We're going to start it out with night number 15. It is a tag team match between Kaito Kiyomiya and Ryohei Oiwa versus the United Emperor's Great Okan and Jeff Cobb. Cobb's hair is out of control in this match.
So distracting.
Oh, it was just like I'm watching and I'm like, what the hell? Like it was all frizzy and puffed out. It was just like I've never seen his hair so crazy.
Was this the night where he had the bit in the front and the ponytail?
And then it was like a ponytail, but it got all puffed up at one point.
Yeah, because it was dry. Because he has naturally curly hair. A girl can relate. Like when this is keeping it tame. When I take it out, it's kind of like Lion King.
Maybe that's why he wets his hair before every match.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever combination he does, it looks great from start to finish. I like seeing his hair wet like it is in this picture. Seeing it puffy, I was just like, whoa, we got Goofy Jeff today.
Yeah, so Cobb, at the end of the match, Cobb stops the double suplex and takes out Kaito Kiyomiya, but Oiwa takes out Jeff Cobb, catches the boot from Great Okan and gets a roll up for 2. Khan does hit the big boot, and it hits the Eliminator for the win.
This match, again, very much about showing off Oiwa. I felt he was in the match quite a bit more, especially over Kaito. The Kaito was definitely the topic of conversation on commentary, though. Kind of feeling like they're kind of almost playing on there, like he's kind of let Noah down in some way by not making it to the finals. And, I mean, you can't put so much on the young guy's shoulders to start off, you guys. I mean, this is his first G1. He did his best, and he didn't do terrible. He placed pretty good with his pointage and win-loss, and he had some really banger matches. Okan, I'm really liking back to that warlord thing that he's doing. I hope he keeps it up. I hope he doesn't lose it again and kind of goes a little softy because I really do like the attitude of it. It makes him more vicious in the ring.
Yeah, very much so. He's really coming back into his own with the viciousness. Kevin and Chris are showing him between the match on video. Again, I love it. I love they're finally showing these guys. They deserve it. They're the Spanish commentary team in Japan. If you really think about it, as I remember, used to WWE pay-per-views used to start, and they would start on the English announcers, then they would switch over to the Spanish guys, and Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich would just give the craziest amount of energy, and then it would fade out back into the English guys, and I loved it. I always loved that. But now they're doing it with Kevin and Chris, and thumbs up.
I think that one guy who is doing Spanish commentary for WWE is back in AAA. I've been watching a few of their shows on Mas Lucha here on YouTube, and do you know that you can hear the commentary live in the audience while you're in the crowd? I've
I'm
seen
not
it,
when depending on what table we sit at Love Pro Wrestling. I hear Boris being
but
close to
like
the
I'm
show.
saying, it's
So,
like actually like broadcasted to the entire arena. So everybody can
oh,
hear what they're saying, and it is hilarious because you can hear them just again that crazy amount of energy, and that guy specifically loses his shit a lot. Like I'm surprised he hasn't had an aneurysm yet. It's tremendous. It's hilarious to watch.
well,
I highly
if it's
recommend.
a good commentator doing it, okay. Because I remember being in an RCW show years ago, and there was a dude named Andre Corbeil, and he would just start like doing commentary during the match randomly on the house mic because he was the ring announcer at the time before Mike took over. Fuck, it pissed
Oh.
so many people off.
Well, like if it's one person, yeah, I could see how that could be a little bit annoying. This is a team.
And he
They're
wasn't
actually
good.
like a Jerry Lawler,
He
Jim
wasn't
Ross
good.
kind of energy.
Yeah, he was not good. But we move on. It's Tomoaki Hanma and
Hmm.
yeah, Tomoaki Hanma and Toriano versus the Bullet Club War Dogs, Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd. The end of the match, Rocket Kokeshi by Hanma, but he can only get two, so he heads up and hits a second rope Kokeshi, but Kidd rolls out of the way. Coughlin has a choke on Yano on the floor. Kidd pushes the ref and hits this straight right to the jaw. Looked pretty vicious.
Hmm.
And Kidd gets the pinfall victory. I really thought he was going to hit the pile driver after that straight right, but
I was concerned with this match so much. Because as soon as I saw Hamna come out and I remembered that they were facing Bullet Club, I was like, oh no.
mm,
Uh, I really was quite happy to see that the handling of Hamna of Gabe Kidd was very minimal in comparison with his interaction with Coglin. I feel Coglin understands a little bit more how to treat Hamna in this situation. Yeah, this one was interesting because I feel like this set up because Yana was in the D block, right?
yes, he faces Coughlin on the final night. And Coughlin and
Yeah,
Kidd did proceed to beat up on Yano after the match.
they did. Captain Sassy Pants.
Captain Sassy Pants and Angry Alex.
Yeah.
I still need an artist to make me that card a real
What we
chibi
need is
cartoon
someone
version.
with a 3D printer to make us a game. Hungry Alex.
Angry Alex instead of little balls, he's just eating little Yano heads.
Oh my god, yes! There you go. Marketing right there.
Right
Why aren't
there.
we like a team?
We move on. It's Gorillas of Destiny, Hikuleo, and Yato teaming up with Shota Umno, taking on the reuniting Strong Style. El Desperado, Minoru Suzuki, and Ren Narita. End of the match. Ren Narita takes out Shota with the Exploder, but gets rolled up by Jato for two. Narita then gets the rear naked choke, then transitions into the Cobra Twist, getting the submission victory.
This match was interesting. It wasn't like
Yeah. It wasn't the
it
most dynamic
wasn't
one.
yeah, it wasn't. And I can't figure out what it was about it that made me not feel so excited about it because this was seeing Minoru Suzuki, Angry Grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
and Desperado again, and I've missed both of them tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it. I don't know what it was. It just nothing. Like it wasn't a bad match by any means, but it wasn't something that made me go, "Ooh, have to write
It,
home about that." It
it,
was
wa-
just. It was
it was
there.
there. It was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was there. Simple as that. Like I
yeah.
don't really have much else to talk on. Again, it was a match. I watched it. I enjoyed it enough. So yeah, we've got Chaos's Hiroki Goto and Yo teaming up with Oscar Loibe. taking on TMDK's Kosei Fujita, Shane Hayes, and Zack Sabre Jr. I wonder who's going to take the pinfall. There's two people in this one. You could, like, both teams have somebody that could arguably take a pinfall.
It is true. It is true. I actually don't remember the finish on this one. I didn't write down any notes on this one. I'm just kind of going off of my memory.
Yeah,
I do remember seeing Fujita and Yo kind of having some ish. Now, was that this night or the next night?
Oh, I'll get into it. So Shane slips out of Oscar Loibe's suplex, and they trade strikes. Sabre gets up boot, then blocks a boot from Loibe and hits a big lariat for 2. Shane Hayes then hits the last ride powerbomb and gets the win.
Right.
And this is where Yo and Fujita are getting into it on the floor, and they're like pushing at each other, and Goto has to come in and break it up, and it was just, yeah.
And then Zack Sabre Jr. broke up the breakup.
And then Sabre and Goto end up rolling into the ring together and getting in each other's faces, setting stuff up for the final night there.
Yes.
Again, really fun match. I'll say this: Shane Hayes has been just a delight for me. Like the buckethead aside, I was annoyed by that stuff, but it still endeared me more to Shane Hayes because he's willing to be goofy while being crazy, while being an excellent professional wrestler. This guy, I think Shane Hayes is an absolute gem of a professional wrestler. And I liked him before. I love him even more now.
I agree. I wasn't as knowledgeable with him as you were. But I did know that I liked him before this tournament, but this tournament has definitely made me solidify that like. I'm enjoying how they're really playing with the Ichiban Sweet Boy and how, they're really, especially in commentary, talking about him doing his excursion with Robbie Eagles in Australia soon. Hopefully we'll see him teaming with even more members. TMDK, I would love to see him get in there and try to learn a few power things because he does have the structure. Like he's pretty stacked for a short guy. He could probably learn some big things from Big Teats.
I agree with you 100%. What I would love to see is maybe show up because I know TMDK is working the United card. I think really he should be there before he heads to Australia because he's going there. I know Mikey Nichols has said he's heading back to Australia for a little bit, so he's going to be there with Nichols, who's going to be in Australia. So I have a feeling they're going to be teaming up when they're down there. Hayes is actually U.S. based now. Being he just got married to Kimmy Jimenez from Smosh, and they do live out in California. So he does do tours of Australia because that is his homeland. But yeah, I know Fujita is heading to Australia to pretty much work with Nichols and Eagles.
Interesting. Like I said, I'm very excited with how that's been going with Fujita. He can only do better from learning with these guys, and every time we see him, he's just better and better and better and better and better. How long till he's suddenly better than his own team? Learning from every single one of them. It's almost like the Batman of the Justice League.
He'll be the best of them all. Like they're gonna create the greatest professional wrestler of all time.
Like a Captain Planet. All of the rings uniting.
Maybe if it's Don Cheadle's Captain Planet.
Unite.
Maybe if it's Don Cheadle's Captain Planet, but that's about it. That's the only good Captain Planet. We move on. Never mind. That's not it. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi, Master Wato, and Togi Makabe versus LIJ's Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, and Yota Tsuji. The end of the match is scoop slam by Makabe, but he misses the King Kong knee drop to Tsuji, and Tsuji gets a very awkward stomp, then hits the Falcon Arrow for 2, then lines up and hits the spear for the win. And then on the outside, Naito's putting the cloverleaf on Tama, then it gets broken up, then he drop kicks him on the mat or on the floor. Yeah. Naito's dick.
Yeah. I can't even argue against that. Yeah. I mean, but isn't he feeling that tension, that pressure right now, saying that, he wants to win this G1. He wants to, main event Wrestle Kingdom. That's a big drive for him, especially getting up into the age that he is, as we've mentioned before. No Bushi's in the crowd. Sad Melball. There was a Liger. No, I mean that's a win. It's
Yeah.
almost a Bushi. It's a Bushi with horns, I
No
guess.
Tetons.
No Tetons.
Oh,
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Yeah, Suji again, quickly becoming one of my favorites. Big crush. Not gonna lie. I mean, just such a tremendous athlete. The unique styling that he has with that mix of that lucha and that strong style, just perfection.
yeah.
I really liked how his interaction with Watto, like versus his interactions with Makabe and Tanahashi, were like so wildly different. Because when he was interacting with Watto, because Watto again worked CMLL, also with Okamura, that they wrestled a more lucha, quicker style, which Suji, even at his size, can keep up with like
Mhm.
easy. With Tanahashi, it was kind of like a combo of that strong style in lucha. But
Mhm.
with Makabe, just because of the sheer size of the guy, he had to pull out that power strong style. It was really impressive to see the adaptability between the three other
Mm.
guys. And yeah, Naito's a dick, but we like him being a dick.
Very much so. We move on. It's Tomohiro Ishii versus Mikey Nichols. Both men are mathematically eliminated, but this is a match for pride. It's a match of trying to get a win and have the pride here. Mikey Nichols out with Kosei Fujita. Nichols attacks early and they fight to the floor. Ishii runs Nickel into the barricade, but he ends up coming right back with lariat. It's like he bounced off the lariat like they were ropes and came right back with the lariat. Um, Nichols beating down on Ishii, bites the forehead. Just I wonder how and this is gonna sound weird, but I wonder how Ishii tastes. I don't know. Whenever I see a guy bite somebody bite a person, I'm like, I wonder how that person tastes. I don't know. So it goes through my head. Probably doesn't taste good, but
You almost Kasai'd me there, sir.
uh,
Almost.
they're trying. Each trying to suplex each other, but Ishii gets the vertical suplex. And they say Ishii has now wrestled over 24 hours in total of G1 action over his career.
Wow, congratulations, Ishii.
I
Dang.
th- I thought it would have been more by now. I don't know.
I mean, he's had some short matches.
That's true. That is true.
Mhm.
Shoulder block by Ishii and the PK to the back. Nichols gets up. They trade really hard strikes. Nichols gets the headbutt, dropping Ishii, and the cut starts bleeding. Nichols gets a sick DDT where Ishii just like spike him on his head. Gets
Yeah,
two, follows it up with a 12-second delayed vertical suplex for two. Chris Charlton countered it, man.
he did.
Uh, Ishii hits the backdrop after avoiding shots from Nichols. Nichols dodges a lariat, gets the Death Valley driver on Ishii, then puts him up top. Nichols gets to the top rope for the superplex and hits the superplex, but can only get two. Nichols misses the seated lariat. Ishii gets the lariat, but Nichols gets a tornado DDT, spiking Ishii again. Hits the Death Valley driver and the seated lariat for two. Uh, they trade lariats. Ishii gets two. Enziguri by Nichols and picks up Ishii. Ishii blocks a shot, hits his own Enziguri, and thus sliding lariat for two. Then he tries the vertical drop brainbuster, but Mikey Nichols slips out, hits a big ending, and the moonsault for two. Nichols goes for the Master Blaster, but Ishii slides out, hits a headbutt and a lariat, follows it up with the vertical drop brainbuster, and he gets the win.
This was my favorite match that Mikey Nichols had in this G1.
This was my favorite match of the night.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
Ishii killed
mean,
it.
I you know, your girl took notes on the main event, but they were like short. But like this, for me, for Mikey Nichols, you know, we've both been saying we're not a fan of the headbutts. And there was just a couple matches that he was in, like with Evil,
Hanare.
um, and like that we just Eddie Kingston that were just kind of. This match was tremendous. Um, Straight up brawling, strong style match. The strikes were just absolutely crazy with these guys. Um, and I also wrote down like the minimal amount of headbutts that Nikki's did, like Nikki's, Mikey
Mike Nicky,
Nichols,
yeah.
the minimal amount that he did in here made it just so much more enjoyable. This was a battle of the sliding lariats. It's very interesting to see the difference in flair, as you will, that Ishii versus Nichols does, because Nichols is almost like a crossbody. When he is doing it, he's very spread out, whereas
Yeah.
Ishii is more, I mean, obviously compact. He can't really spread out that much. He doesn't have much of a neck. So, like, it's very cool to see the different kind of stylings of the same move
Yeah.
where they, yeah.
With Nichols, it's when he comes in for it, it's almost like he does like a really over exaggerated walk in and hits his
Yeah.
lariat almost like an elbow drop
Yeah.
more. And then where
Yeah.
he's running it and he slides into it. Like he literally goes
Oh,
into
yeah.
a baseball slide and smacks him with it. Like I
It literally
love that
looks
it's
like
the
you
same
polish him
move.
and just drag him across.
And that's why I always refer to Nichols as a seated lariat, because he comes in and he just falls into the lariat instead of, it's not really sliding, but it's still the same move in the end.
Yeah, it is. It's just like that their own little personal
Mm-hmm.
touch that they like to put on it. I
Yep.
like that because it's like you said, it's the same move essentially, but because of the difference in styling, it looks so drastically different.
100%.
I'm fairly certain there was a certain point, a couple certain points where Ishii was knocked out. Other than that, he just sold really freaking good. But gosh dang, like
Oh,
the way he just dropped on a couple of those strikes was just a little sickening.
yeah.
Um, that moonsault by Mikey Nichols was freaking picture perfect. That thing was beautiful. And again, I want to shout out his
Beautiful.
gear. That
Yeah.
what?
I said beautiful.
Love it. The gear Mikey Nichols is worn throughout this tournament, that cobalt blue with the three skulls on the side, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's my favorite gear of his. It just looks so good on him. It looks so professional and put together and so clean and just it fits at the right places. It has the right amount of stuff on it. It looks really good on him.
Yeah.
The back and forth at the end there was insane. Um, but I'm very happy that Ishii kind of picked up the win on this one, just because you guys getting old. I'm
40,
concerned that this might be the
47.
last G1 we see.
Tanahashi's going to stop doing G1s before Ishii will.
Hard facts.
We move on. We're going to
Oh,
hit Tama Tonga versus Henare. Again, they keep changing up the graphics for this motherfucker, and they're awesome. Like Hanare's
yes.
I love them.
Yes.
Tama gets the advantage early, but Henare does fight back and hits a disaster kick out of the corner. Don't know what else to call it. It's Cody Rhodes' disaster kick. That's what it is.
It's
Then
just
hits.
real quick before you get going on, and the Tom is doing the Zoolander. What is that?
He's doing Blue Steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing Blue Steel. Blue Steel Tama.
Blue Steel Tama.
So
Love it.
yeah, Hanare hits the disaster kick out of the corner, hits the scoop slam and the senton. Hanare exposes just the top turnbuckle. He rips the top part off, then shoves underneath just so the top turnbuckle. The other two are still covered. I was just like, that's different. And he puts him horizontal into the ropes and hits the knees in the midsection. Then gets a running knee into the corner and gets a 2 count. Hanare gets the ground cobra, but Tama does eventually get to the ropes. Spinning back elbow by Hanare looked just sick. And he hits the spinning back elbow. Then Tama gets a beautiful big old drop kick and looked really good. Hits the corner splash and the exploder by Tama for 2. There's a great brawl at center. Just these two just teeing off on each other. But Tama gets an enziguri, hits the SRC, goes up to the top, but he gets knocked off to the floor by Hanare. And Hanare goes out and just puts him back in the ring. I'm like, some classy attitude right there. Hanare starts to chest kicks, gets a tornado kick and the PK for 2, hits a berserker bomb for 2. He goes for Rampage, but Tama reverses into Villano and hits the Tongan twist and goes up and hits the Supreme Flow for 2. Mike's messaging me. Gun stun is blocked into the pop-up Samoan. Knee strike to the head by Hanare in the corner. He tries Ultima, but then having to push Ultima into the corner, hitting another knee, then applying Ultima, but Tama fights out into that gun stun. The gun stun gets reversed with a headbutt and a Uranagi, followed by the Rampage. Thomas drops Streets of Rage and just out of nowhere gets a J Driller for the win. This ending just came out of nowhere for me
It
personally,
did.
but really good ending.
It did. It just came out of nowhere for me too. I really enjoyed this match. I didn't take a ton of notes on this because I felt that this was just like such a heavy hitting match. I was pretty enamored by it. I also had a short schedule to watch these matches, so I didn't take as many notes as I would like to. Um, but yeah, I really felt that Hanari at the beginning of this was having to muscle Tama around a little bit, really doing a bit of a power flex on there before the match kind of started going with the both of them. And that kind of goes back to our NJPW template where the person at the beginning starts to do better and they unfortunately do not pick up the win. But what a match for Hanari, because man, did he give Tama his everything in this one. This was a tremendous match.
Yeah, I thought these two just the back and forth beating each other up was just really, really, really good.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. We move on to the semi-main event of the evening. It is Eddie Kingston versus David Finlay with Gato.
With Gator.
Yep, with Gato.
With
They
Gator.
each try to gain the advantage early, but Eddie gets control. They go to the floor, but Finlay runs, and he runs Finlay into the barricade on the floor. Finlay gets the snap suplex on the floor. He heads back in. Eddie gets in at 10, but Finlay starts stomping on him, then runs him out, runs him into the barricade and the post, and he gets back in there and trying to get this like a count out win. Eddie gets in at 12. Eddie unloads chops on Finlay, but Finlay runs Eddie into the corner like very hard and goes to work on the back and hits the backbreaker for 2, gets the camel clutch. Excuse me for a second. Sorry about that. Eddie fights back with chops, but Finn hits a DDT, a really good DDT. Then Eddie dodges a lariat, hits one of his own. Lariat in the corner, and the corner chops by Eddie. Exploder out of the corner by Eddie, Eddie goes for the exploder out of the corner, but Finlay reverses it. Sorry, Eddie hits the exploder, but then Finlay reverses a backdrop into a pinfall for 2. And then you get back up and Eddie hits his backdrop for 2. Irish Curse backbreaker by Finlay. Finlay just unloading shots in the corner. Hits another Irish Curse backbreaker for 2. Then hits like the blind shot, that sliding blind shot to the back of the head for 2. Eddie goes up, but knocked to the floor. He's grabbing his back. Finlay gets him up on his shoulders and tosses Eddie, and his head just clangs off the post. Like it was loud, and it was like,
Yeah, it made a
Eddie,
hell of a dong.
Eddie does get back in at 19. He stops a lariat with a half and half suplex, hits the spinning back fist, but only gets 2. They're each trying to get the other up for a suplex. Eddie hits a back fist and the Northern Lights bomb, but it takes him a bit to get the cover, and Finlay gets a foot on the ropes. Finlay hits the Trash Panda, but then collapses. So they trade strikes, hard slaps, rolling elbows. They trade strikes, hard slaps. Finlay gets the rolling elbow and the spear. Then he hits the Into the Oblivion Trash Panda for the win.
The sarcasm, the sass is so real, Andre. So real.
Don't steal other people's move names.
Hard facts. Hard facts. The beginning there where Eddie threw Finlay into the barricade and then Finlay answered with that suplex was just, for me, the beginning of starting to see a little bit more character development for David Finlay. I feel like Eddie Kingston was a bit more of a crescendo, a climax, if you will, for David Finlay here. We saw even more personality and more savagery kind of come out of him, a little bit more animation, which I'm very, very happy about. Eddie's chops are very, very solid. Those things are deadly. The machine gun chop spot was really funny because I think David Finlay was expecting something else. Like Eddie did a series, and then went to start a second series. But Finley kind of dropped on the first one. I think he was expecting something like Kojima, where Kojima does the machine guns and then follows up with that last one.
Hmm.
Kingston was not done with him yet. He said nay nay. He pulled him right back up. He slapped him again. It was amusing to me. But again, Finley played that with that over animation into it and definitely kind of made that moment a lot more fun. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, the post was just crazy. That was another one of those near countouts that had me like, bro, just get up, get in the ring. Um, at that point, I felt the kind of few moments that after that, and Kingston had got back in the ring, he was kind of just acting on instinct. He wasn't kind of like acting incoherently or intelligently. He was just kind of going with what he was kind of hoping was the flow. And those spinning backhands that he was feeding Finley was just one right after the other. I was surprised Finley didn't get knocked out. That was crazy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, yeah, and I already made that point. So yeah, that's all that.
Yeah. Again, very good match between these two. And again, Eddie Kingston has really turned me around on him. 100%. 100%. If you can keep giving
100%.
this kind of feeling back in North America, I'll be happy. I really will. And
I agree.
hopefully you get him and Hanare for the title.
Hey,
I
that would be
really
pretty
hope.
cool.
I'm thinking August. I'm thinking August 13th for the on the final show. I think we might get a strong upweight defense.
I would like that.
Me too.
I would really like that.
We move on to the main event of the evening. It's Shingo Takagi versus Evil. I don't know how to feel because there was some good wrestling in this match.
Yeah,
Shingo Takagi did great. Evil, when he wanted to in there, he was wrestling really well. But
yeah.
there was so much interference in this. Like Togo getting involved early, and then uh, like I love the fact that when Takagi got tossed back in after Togo's attack on the floor, and Evil goes to the pin, the ref just kind of got distracted with something in the corner.
He didn't. He was told. He was told to go to that corner by Togo. He was going, oh, look at that, look at that. So that's what he
No,
was
no,
doing. He was just
no,
sitting there like, la la
no,
la la.
no. It's when Evil tossed him out to tossed Takagi out to Togo. Evil kind of distracted the ref. Togo attacked Takagi, rolled him back in, and Evil went for the pin, and the ref just went what and just went to the corner and just like and Evil's getting all pissed off because he didn't get because he
Yeah, and
couldn't
slamming
pin.
on the mat. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was having a fit because Red Shoes power flexed on him.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Not with Evil. I don't blame him. Um, yeah, I don't know if I really want to go over a lot of this because again, like Shingo did a lot of great stuff. The Noshigami, that gory special.
Oh, it was so good.
I love his gory special looks so good.
So
Um,
good.
uh, just so much cheating in this match. Yujiro and Sho do come out the ringside, but no Lij still. They remove a corner pad. Gets run into it. The trying to splash Evil, and Evil gets a corner lariat and a suplex, and he tosses him out, and he distracts the ref, and HOT beat the shit out of Takagi on the floor. Um, yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse. Evil and Togo hit a magic killer at one point. But Takagi comes right back after he knocks them off the other guys off the apron, hits Made in Japan for two, looked really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so Takagi fires up, goes for Last of the Dragon, but Evil pulls the hair, and Takagi attacks him with the elbows, but it gets tossed in the exposed corner, but comes back, hits Last of the Dragon, goes for the pin. The ref gets pulled out, so Togo slides in, counts 1, 2, 3. And then Yujiro hits the bell. I think it was Yujiro rings the bell. So Takagi is kind of relaxes like he thinks he's won. And this is where House of Torture attacks again. They attack. Lij shows up. Like Suji and Bush show up, but they get beaten down. Toga gets the garrote, uses the garrote. Yujiro uses the chair. Sho hits a shock arrow, and the ref starts the count. But Hiromu shows up and pulls the ref out. Hiromu gets in, super kicks Yo, but Yujiro takes him out with the cane. The Bushi missed Yujiro in the face.
Mhm.
Uh, and Dick Togo takes out Bushi, and then he takes out Tsuji too. And I'm like, okay. So Singo's fighting back, and then Tsuji hits a suicide dive to House. I think it was a suicide dive to House Torture, right?
So she did the moonsault off the corner.
Oh, the moonsault. Okay, that's what it was. I remember a dive. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Moonsaults onto House Torture out of the corner on the floor, and then Takagi hits a huge lariat, goes for Last of the Dragon, but Evil fights down. They attack each other. Takagi has the headbutt, but then Evil shoves the ref, low blows him, hits everything as Evil, and Evil gets Mel 2 more points, and Evil's going to the quarterfinals for Mel.
I hate it. I feel so dirty. They're dirty points. Ugh. Never did I ever think that my biggest point getter in this tournament would be freaking Evil. Like, he was one of my last picks. It was a last resort desperate pick for points that I thought would be pitiful because I didn't think the shenanigans would play this much into his tournament. Maybe that was just wishful thinking on my part. Yeah, the Evil jumpstart. Shocking. That was my first note. Togo attacking Takagi. Shocking. What I did like was that Shingo did kind of play up the announcer spot a little bit instead of just taking it. They did play that kind of angle a little bit. We did have to suffer seeing it 3 times, but
Mm.
it took a hot minute to get, and I'm happy about that
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, there was oh yes, the combo that I love of Shingo with the back elbow, straight right, and either DDT or Ryokan lariat follow up. I was very happy that Evil tried to duck it and got the DDT because DD go fuck yourself, sir. Yeah, Noshigami was great. Yeah, I felt that Shingo was striking way harder in this one. Like, I felt he was really fired up and really excited in this match. Once the House of Torture shit started, I was not too happy. It was just like, well, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. More bullshit. What I did like is when they did set up for that Magic Killer. After like Takagi took it, they've set him up for a second one. Takagi able to get out and actually turn things around and actually get Evil up into the Magic Killer and actually forcing Mr. Togo, little dick there, to do the Magic Killer on his own boss, which I found hilarious. He finally did it right. Did you notice that? He did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Only took him 2 years to get it right, but he did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Mr. Dick. Let's see here. When he kicked out of the Made in Japan, I died a little inside. I kind of figured out that that's where Takagi was probably not going to win this match, and it made me very unhappy. The crowd solidly behind Takagi. Solidly. They hated Evil. Oh, did they hate Evil? You mentioned you weren't happy not seeing, or you weren't happy not seeing Lij. I share this sentiment. They took too long to get down there for how long the shenanigans happened and for how long they started. It's like,
yeah, and you know House of Torture is going to get involved. Why
yeah, they
didn't at
plan
least
ahead.
why didn't at least like a Suji or a Bushi or somebody come out to be Dick
Come
Togo's
on.
foil?
Yeah, it bothered me. Yeah. Um,
They're not.
yeah, and then I
They're not
wrote down
united.
Bushi
They're
and
not
Suji
united.
coming out, but not doing a ton helpful. Togo choking out Takagi, show with the chair and the shock arrow. I was just like, I had a moment like I had on Chop Talk the other night. Fucking show, fucking Yujiro, fucking fuck. Fucking fuck. Ugh. So, this one is not going to be great for the censors. The moonsault and then the Bushi miss was fun. The pumping bomber on Evil, I had hope that it would be turning around. The headbutt, I prayed it was over after that point. Yeah, and it was, but not for the right one.
Mm.
The boos from the crowd were tremendous. Like they were louder than Evil's music at one point. It was hysterical. I love it. Never have I heard someone get as big a heat in some time, besides Don Callis on AEW here. Um, Andy Anderson is the only other person who I've seen generate this much heat. I loved it. That was the first thought was Andy Anderson heat. I love it. Um, all I could think of, I wrote this down. I had to look up the quote. I was like, all I could think of was that Mulan quote from the animated series from Mushu. Do you remember that?
I've seen that
Dishonor,
movie before.
dishonor on your whole family, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. That was all I was saying. It's just dishonor.
Dick Togo's his cow. There you go.
Sure. Sure. I also made a kind of a funny little observation in there. He did his little speech, and no one cares. But they did that stupid little freaking thing, and yeah. You want to know what I noticed? Did you see what Show was doing? Stupid Show with his stupid Ibushi level over animation nonsense is just sitting there. I'm like, you're not smoking cigarettes, you stupid little brat. You are stoners. They're not House of Torture. They're House of Stoners. That's who I'm calling them from now on.
Oh, so now you're a big fan of them.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
They're the embarrassing ones. They're the ones that we don't acknowledge. Yeah. That's all I got.
Mel had a lot more to say about that match than I did. I guess she liked it more than I did.
I had investments in it.
Yes, you have Mikey Nichols, Tomohiro Ishii, and Aaron Nari all ending with 4 points. You have Shingo Takagi with 7, Eddie Kingston with 8, Tama Tonga with 9, and Evil and David Finlay with 10. If Takagi had won, there would have been another match on that show between Tama Tonga and Shingo Takagi pretty much right away. That's what they were saying on commentary. Because they had the draw, so they would have had to have a playoff.
Doesn't David Finlay technically have the win over Evil?
No, but I'm saying if Evil had lost and Shingo Takagi had won, Takagi would have been at 9 with Tama Tonga. So they would have to have a playoff match after the main event.
Yeah, right.
Set up whoever went into
that on commentary,
yeah. So we're going to move on. It's night number 16. We'll start it out. Tag team match, Eddie Kingston and Yuto Nakashima versus House of Torture, Evil and Show. Show hits Nakashima with the wrench, hits the shock arrow, gets the win. I'm moving on. We're giving nothing to that match. I'm sorry. Kaito Kiyomiya and Ryohei Oiwa versus TMDK's Kosei Fujita and Miyake Nichols. Nichols hits the Death Valley Bomb, gets the seated lariat for the win on Oiwa.
Yeah. This one was fun. I didn't have like a whole ton that I remember being spectacular on this one, except for I remember this was the first one where I saw Kaito actually help who he was wrestling with out of the ring after the match. Mm-hmm. So good job, Kaito. Sportsmanship.
Yeah. Finally.
It only took a month.
6-man tag match, Hikuleo, Mastawato, Shota Umino versus the Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Gato.
Sassy Pants.
Gato rakes the eyes of Watto, but Watto fights him off. They trade pinfalls. Watto gets the Russian leg sweep into Vendaval for the submission victory. After the match, Kidd attacks with the chair. There, Kidd and Finlay attack with the chair and Shillelagh. Kidd gets and Kidd starts yelling at Hikuleo because he's the one he was beating up with the chair. He says, if he can't win the block, neither can you. And he hits him in the chair with the head, trying to weaken him so he can't get past.
In the chair with the head?
Oh, hit him in the head with the chair. I'm sick. That's my excuse.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
You're cutting me deep, girl. You're cutting me deep.
Hey, I just made the observation. I needed clarification on what had happened.
You knew what I meant. You knew what I meant.
Well, we the the people, they need clarification.
Let's move on. Tomoaki Hanma and Tomohiro Ishii versus the United Empire. Great Khan and Mr. Hanare. Hanma gets the lariat and the Kokeshi for 2 on Hanare, but Hanare stops the Kokeshi driver, which I don't think I've ever seen hit in my life. And Hanare gets Hanare hits the kick and the headbutt for 2, and Hanare hits Streets of Rage for the win. After the match, Ishii and Great Kong are brawling on the floor and have to be broken up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, they do. I actually only caught half of this match before hopping on here. But from what I saw, again, I just gotta say, I reiterate what I said earlier. The Great Khan, I'm really enjoying seeing him back to that Mongolian Death Lord original thing that he was doing, because it was what made him unique. It made him intimidating. It made him fun to watch, and I'm very happy to see that again. And I feel that the personality with Hanare, the savagery that we're kind of seeing out of him, it works well together. I think going into tag league that these two would be the great combo there.
Oh, very much so. I think, I don't know what Cobb does come tag league. He's going to be over here. I think it's got to be Con and Hanare being the team, and I'm really hoping Aussie Open comes back.
I wouldn't mind. I miss hearing the Aussie Open theme song. Yeah.
Aussie, whoa! Just watch some ROH. You'll see. You'll hear it.
Or more wrestling 100.
Or All In 0 Hour. We'll be watching it live at 10 a.m. on August 27th. 10 a.m. baby. All In 0 Hour starts. I'm so excited. Aussie Open versus Adam Cole and MJF, who are in the main event for the ROH tag titles on the pre-show. That will be free, ladies and gentlemen. I highly recommend you watch that show because Aussie Open are not to be missed.
Oi, oi, oi.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Love it.
We move on. Main event of the undercard. It's Los Ingobernables de Japón. Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Yoda G versus Strong Styles at El Desperado, Minoru Suzuki, and Ren Narita.
Oh man, you're hilarious.
Well, I love that I can do that with all the like J's because it's Bushi, Takagi, and Tsuji.
What about Hiromu?
The end of the match.
Takahashi?
Narita gets the exploder into the bridge on Bushi for 2, then applies the rear naked choke, transitions into the Cobra twist, and Bushi has to tap out, and Strong Style gets 2 wins in a row.
They're coming for those 6-man titles, and you pray that they succeed.
No, me too. Me too.
I didn't get to see this one, so.
All right, so we move on to the first.
And this is one match. Excellent.
Yeah, and this is where Eddie Kingston now joins the commentary team, and I enjoyed him. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, like, again, he's not the best commentator I've ever heard on here, but he did a good. He's better than David Finlay. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah. Like, that's saying something.
Like he's no Alex Zane, but he or El Phantasmo, but he gave a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I felt that his style was very, like, the way he spoke, the tone in which he spoke was very educated, very experienced, but he delivered the information in such a street casual way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah, it was great, actually. I enjoyed it. The one thing that I will say that it didn't bother me, but there were points that startled me, was when a move would happen and he would react and he'd be like, "Roar!" And I'd be like, "Huh, what in? Yeah." Like, that's me supposed to be making all of the noises, sir. Tranquilo yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. He did very, very well.
Yeah. And before we go into it, there was on the previous night some comments made after the match by Hanare saying, "How do you represent?" Like because Eddie King's been saying he very much that Japanese strong style,
Mm-hmm.
but Hanare made some comments on the night before in his post match saying that how do you represent Japanese strong style? I'm the one who went through the dojo system. I'm the one who trained over here in Muay Thai and kickboxing in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Went through all of it. He's like, you didn't. He's like, he's kind of he's really setting up a potential strong open weight title match.
I wouldn't be mad about that. I wouldn't be mad about Hanari representing the strong style brand.
Mm-hmm. Again, I see that match. I have a feeling they need to fill up that undercard for the August 13th final show. Two big shows happening on that August 13th day. Man, we got a lot of wrestling to watch. Like, holy shit.
Maker help us.
Oh, man.
We love it though.
Oh, I love it. So we're gonna get into this. It's Toriano versus Alex Coughlin. Coughlin comes out. So Yano makes his way out, and the Gabe Kid attacks. They beat the shit out of him on the floor. They slam into they pick out the barricades and slam them on Yano. They choke Yano with his sash. They put Yano into a chair, but Coughlin gets dropped toehold into it, and he hits them both with the chair. And he gets a fan chair around Gabe Kid's neck and drags him to the back, tosses him into the back. And I loved the way that Kevin and Eddie were talking. Like, there's like, oh, this is blonde crazy Yano. This is like they're talking like they brought out the crazy like,
yeah,
I'm gonna fucking kill you, Yano. And we got that. Yano tosses out. So Yano tosses Alex into the chairs, but Alex slams him into the chairs. They brawl in the crowd. Yano goes over, removes the corner pad, and they get in. Yano whips him into the exposed corner, chokes Alex, but the ref won't count the pin because he knows Yano was choking him. Alex whips Yano into the exposed. Angry Alex whips Yano into the exposed corner, hits the shoulder block and strikes. They fight. Yano ends up getting the slingshotting Alex into the angry Alex into the corner. The ref is taken out, and Gabe Kid returns. He sets up a table on the floor. Alex tries to suplex Yano onto it from the apron, but Yano runs him into the post. Gabe Kid attacks Yano, but Yano ends up taking out both Angry Alex and Gabe Kid. He then picks Gabe Kid up and hits that Yano fucking power bomb to Gabe Kid through the goddamn table. That was so good.
So good.
So Yano goes out. Angry Alex is back in the ring. Yano goes and gets the scissors. And this is where Kevin Kelly's like, it's just like Chase Owens when he tried to stab Chase Owens. And like, it was just like, holy shit. And I'm just like, oh, he is very violent. He is the most violent player version of Yano at this point.
Yep.
He tries to stab Alex with the scissors, but the ref stops him. And the ref gets distracted. Angry Alex hits Yano with his strong openweight title belt, tosses it out, hits the jackhammer, and gets the win.
And didn't Yano go up like a technicolored sack of potatoes for that jackhammer? Oof.
Yeah, but dude, I don't care who you are. Even if you sandbag Alex Coughlin, he's still gonna lift you. That dude is freaky strong.
Scary strong. Yes. What didn't you say? Tossing him into the chair. Was this where did you mention that they tied up? Was this the match where they tied up Yano's neck on the barricade?
I don't think so. I might have missed it. Might not have been paying attention.
Just weird. Weird.
I know they were choking him with his own sash at one point.
What disappointed me is that Yano is a part of Chaos, right? They're feuding, sort of, kind of, with the IWGP-World Tag Team Champions, both of which were in attendance tonight.
Where was YOSHI-HASHI?
Where was YOSHI-HASHI? I mean, I get that Yano's not Kazuchika Okada, I get it, but like, where is he? I mean, where's Goto? Even like, this is your dude.
Well, Goto was wrestling 2 matches later, so Goto doesn't give a shit about Yano when
but YOSHI-HASHI
or Show or anybody, or
Show.
not Yo, or anybody else in Chaos. There's so many. Chaos is one of the biggest factions out there, and
Hell, Okada. You're the leader, man. Show some freaking leadership.
yeah,
Um,
and again, there's just remember, there's only two teams in this entire company that care about each other, and that is TMDK and the United Empire.
well, three if you arguably, include House of Stoners. They sure unfortunately seem to have at least
Okay,
evil back.
okay, There's three teams that care about each other: United Empire, TMDK, and House of Torture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate. What else? What else? What was with? Did you watch afterwards? Coughlin getting into a spectator's face. I couldn't tell if it was a shoot or something, but it was.
I
It did
don't
not look.
know. He just
Didn't
yelled.
look good.
Yeah,
Didn't look good. Just remember where you are, sir.
and
Don't do that here.
I love Kevin Kelly comparing them to Eddie Kingston when he was younger, where he just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and like got buildings, got fines, and just doing whatever he wanted, no matter what the cost was, and like getting kicked out of companies, and that's what these guys' attitude is, and that's what I was like, God damn, you're right.
Goddamn.
We move on. It's Shane Hayes with Kosei Fujita versus Jeff Cobb. Hayes gives the hat to a child.
After he signed it.
Yeah, I really class act. I guess the hat's done.
Uh-huh. It's cute.
Uh, good
Adorable.
fight. They good fighting at the start, but Cobb catches Hayes and tries to suplex him, but Hayes gets out. Cobb gets the drop kick though, and this Eddie Kingston's like, "It's not fair," making the comment that he's so big but he's so athletic, and I
Yes.
love the way Eddie reacted to it because it's like he wants to be that athletic. He wants to be that good, but he knows he can't be that good, and he's just mad at Cobb for being that good.
I mean, Eddie Kingston, what did he say? He was 42, 43?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you never know. If he,
Cobb's around the
practice.
same age though. Cobb's at the same age though. He's like
Yeah, I'm
40.
just saying, though, if he practiced,
It's very possible.
why not?
So they end up on the outside. Hayes runs Cobb into the barricade and hits the apron bomb. And Hayes slides back in, but Cobb gets back in at 16.
Mhm.
Uh, Shane Hayes gets like a knee in the back and pulling back on the head, but Cobb literally stands up. But Hayes unloads with kicks. Cobb gets the corner uppercut and the whip into the corner and the lariats, and then the repeated lariats in the corner. Hits a backdrop driver for 2, then the standing moonsault for 2. Head kick by Shane Hayes, and then the running knee to the head, and he hits the Falcon Arrow for 2. They have a big strike exchange in the center. Hayes stops the lariat with a drop kick, sending Cobb to the floor. They end up fighting up the ramp. They're fighting with each other. Hayes shoves the refs and tells them to get back to the ring. Cobb backdrop, like just the overhead backdrop on that ramp, and Cobb starts heading back towards the ring, and Hayes is trying to stop him. He's legitimately trying to keep Cobb to 1 point, so Sabre has a better shot at getting into the finals. Hayes trying to stop him all the way back, and then as Cobb gets to the ringside, Hayes just like latches onto the leg and will not let go, and Cobb can't get in the ring, and they both get counted out. And after the match, Cobb is visibly irate about this. He is not happy. He's like threatening. He's threatening people. He's like pushing and threatening people at ringside, like
Yeeting tables.
Yeah, he was not happy.
I mean, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Totally fair. You got all the reason to be. I mean, he fought so hard in this tournament, and then it's like it's so weird because it's like once he's so serious for such a long time, once he starting to do some of the little goofier stuff, that's when we start to see him slip up a little bit. Like he slipped on Yano, and it's like he's been trying to recover ever since. And it's unfortunate because he's such a powerhouse and such a tremendous athlete. He deserves to be in the finals. Like, and arguably, like, Shane Hayes probably couldn't have beat him on his own.
No. Again, I love me some Shane Hayes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
like
no,
Jeff Cobb is like 2 Shane Hastes.
Yeah, there's the only way Hayes beats him is literally by on a count out. You can see we hit him, you do stuff on the floor, slide back in, and trying to get Cobb counted out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This was a fun match, though.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
We move on to the semi main event of the evening. It's Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr.
You sound like a hair metal band.
with Kaoshi Fujita.
Itchy band, sweet boy.
Sweet boy.
Hey,
Sweet boy.
mom.
Sweet boy. Good solid
Oh, what a
attacks
night.
from both early. Sorry, Mel. Goto takes over, but Saber catches the ankle off the wheel kick into the corner and gets an ankle lock, then gets an elbow drop to the back, then gets the backbreaker. Saber on the outside is forearming him in the back on the floor, but then he just tosses him back in. Doesn't use the outside, doesn't do anything like that. Just I was like, that was kind of classy. And I was like, that's classy right there. Back in the ring, Saber gets the bow and arrow, really working over the back, but then switches into the armbar, and that gives Goto the opportunity to get to the ropes. So this is where Zack starts in on the kicks to the back, but then Zack gets whipped into the corner, but then he gets whipped off the ropes, but he does hop on him and gets the Cobra twist, brings him down for a ground Cobra, but as he goes to switch for positions, Goto does get to the ropes. Again, it seems when Zack Sabre switches positions, Goto knows that's when it's time to move, and
Yep.
he's capitalizing on it.
Smart
Uh,
man.
Goto gets the hard lariat, dropping Sabre. He gets the whip into the corner and the wheel kick, and then gets the backdrop for 2. Goto hard strikes, drops Sabre, but gets cut off up top, and Sabre gets knocked off the top though, and then then gets knocked to the ape or gets knocked inside, and Goto grabs him with the triangle, Thekla style, and chokes him over the rope. It's Thekla style, baby.
Deckless style, baby.
Yep. Uh, Goto goes to the top, but gets caught into a triangle on the elbow drop. And then Sabre switches into a modified armbar, but Goto does eventually get to the ropes. Sabre hits the PK, but Goto catches the second PK, but Sabre starts just striking him in the face. Uh, and the Goto gets some big shots and lariat Sabre hits the Ushigoroshi, but Sabre gets a backdrop. Then Goto gets the backdrop. Then Sabre gets a backbreaker. It looks like he went for a backdrop, then lifted him up and just drove him down into his knee on that backbreaker. I was like, that is a very different way to do a backbreaker. I liked it.
Yeah.
Sabre hits a lariat for 1, and then Goto hits a lariat for 2. I was okay with that 1 count because Sabre doesn't have the most effective lariats. So Goto kicking at 1 off the lariat, I was okay with that one because again,
Yeah.
Sabre's not a power guy, right?
No.
But and then Goto hits his lariat, and it does take 2 for Sabre to kick out. Sabre gets the Zack driver, but cannot follow up. They trade forearms. Goto drops Sabre, but Sabre gets the overhead kick. But Goto gets a huge kick himself. Kick to the chest, then the GTW, but Goto only gets 2. Sabre blocks the GTR into the jack driver, but then gets reversed into the GTR. But he reverses that into a Euro clutch for 2. They trade strikes, and Sabre gets the octopus, and then they go to the mat. He transitions into like an STF style move, gets both arms, pulls back, twists him, and lays back, and Goto has to verbally submit.
Yes. The
Yeah.
way that Zach could just tie you up
Mhm.
like a little pretzel in just like no time. It's absolutely crazy. Um,
Mel, stop drooling.
come on now. Even I have limits. A man would be scary. Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. though, his transitioning just absolutely phenomenal. The technical wrestling that this guy has is just yeah, it's out of this world. Um, very very dominant throughout this match. Like when he was dominant, he was in charge. Holy heck! Goto really fighting back, using the power that he knew Zack Sabre Jr. really didn't have. But man, the strikes and the lariats in this one were kind of crazy. And as you mentioned, there was a very distinct power difference between what Zack Sabre Jr. was able to do versus what Goto could do. Yeah, this was a really, really fun one for me. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, very, very good match. I really enjoyed
Mhm.
these two. We move on. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Tetsuya Naito in the
You went
main
like
event of the
villain
evening.
there.
Yeah, in the main event of the evening.
Mm.
Naito, as always, taking forever to get his gear off, and he was the first one to come out. Like, goddamn, dude, you should have had your gear off by now. Like, god damn it. Um,
He is the ungovernable one.
they're very timid to lock up at the beginning, but Tana, as they lock up, Tana gets an inside cradle, but only gets two. Tana working the headlock. Naito pulls the hair, so Tana pulls the hair back. This became a little thing for them in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Crossbody off the second by Tanahashi into the air guitar, and then the arm drag into the armbar. Naito fights out, gets a neck breaker, then pulls the hair over the he gets Tana to the apron and pulls the hair like torquing the neck on the rope, and then Tana falls to the floor. He hits the baseball slide, then he does the Naito pose. Like that Naito pose. I would not look good doing that. Naito gets the leg full Nelson, but Tana gets the ropes and he breaks it immediately. I guess he figured out how to break the hold.
We'll go with sure.
And then he hits a neck breaker for two. He gets the cravat in the corner, then works on the elbows to the neck. Tana gets the scoop slam and the flip senton off the second. Tana drop kicks the knee, hits the dragon screw, but Naito gets to the ropes before Tana can get the whole clover leaf applied. Combinacion, but Cabron is stopped with a dragon screw through the ropes.
Yeah, that was brutal.
And Naito goes to the floor. Tana goes to the top rope, hits Aces High from the top rope to the floor. That's not good for your knees, bro.
No.
Back in the ring, Tana gets the sling blade, goes up, hits Aces High, and goes for the high fly flow, but Naito gets the knees up. They trade strikes. Naito elbows the neck and hits Esperanza. And this is where Eddie Kingston was like, "Ow!" when he dude, that was. But that was the one case where I'm like, I love that sell the way he did it because it looked fucking gross when people take Esperanza.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
Eddie, for a person that's not normal, like Kevin Kelly's seen Esperanza how many thousands of times at this point, so he's not going to react the same way. Where somebody who doesn't regularly watch him do that, like at commentary, was just like, "Ow, Jesus!" Because then he's thinking about, "Oh, he might do that to me one day," and that freaks him out. That's how I played that in my head. Tana gets an inside cradle, then hits two twists and shouts, and hits another inside cradle for two. Sling blade, but can only get a 2 count, and hits it again. Goes for the straight jacket German, gets it into the bridge for 2. Naito fights back, gets the elbows to the neck, and hits the spiking tornado DDT, and Naito gets the win.
Yeah, I called that a tornado DD thud. The T stands for thud. Holy heck, did Tana just ka-chunk his head into that mat. Whew. That was rough. Yeah, as you mentioned, the hair really the target for Naito in this one, especially. It's like he's that person who you do something to once and he just goes, "Oh, this is funny now," and starts doing it over and over and over again. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That Esperanza by Naito, phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. But you're right, the sell from Kingston, which again scared the shit out of me. Like, it was great though, because the commentary with Kingston helped add to the excitement of the match. Because the crowd was also super, super pumped about this, and they're very, very divided. Depending on who was winning in the match, they were Sounded like they were switching sides sometimes. I kind of liked it.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're two beloved people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And here is the point
Oh.
updates. You have Tetsuya Naito and Zack Sabre Jr. with 10 points. Moving on. Jeff Cobb with 9. Alex Coggin, Hiroki Goto, and Hiroshi Tanahashi with 6. Shane Hayes with 5. And Toriano alone in last place with 4. Good. Yano's in last. So, before we get out of here, I'm going to give an update on the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are the A1 Sonata, the first place in A block Sonata, versus the C block second place in Evil. You have the A block winner or the B block winner Okada versus the second place in D block Zack Sabre Jr. You have a C block winner Finley taking on B block runner up William Ospreay, and you have the D block winner Tetsuya Naito taking on the A block runner up Hikuleo.
Interesting. So interesting. I think I only have one person in there.
Yeah, I have 2, and I already know the results. So
Uh-oh.
we'll talk about that. That show will be coming out as you're watching this. This is Friday, so this will be coming out on a Saturday. Our review of the quarterfinals will be coming out Saturday. So check that out. One of us is going to be very happy. One of us is going to be very sad.
Oh, I'm afraid to find out which one.
Yeah. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. We really appreciate all of you tuning in, watching, and supporting the channel. Don't forget to like the videos, subscribe down below, and comment down below because we want to hear from you. And don't forget, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new show.
Ding dong.
Hello. Shout out to Bailey. You can find myself, as we get here, you can find myself over on X, Mastodon, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Hive at That Canada Guy, Instagram and Threads at That Canada. You can find me on our Facebook page at Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me sporadically over on our local establishment. You can check them out at twitch.tv/our local establishment or on youtube.com/@our local establishment. And please don't forget to check out our boy Mike the Ref over in Backbreaker Video, because if you're not watching us there, you should be, or you should be at least checking out the channel. Please watch our channel. Please watch our channel. But check out his channel too. All the great wrestling content he puts out at youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video. You can see all of his live Twitch content at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref, all his AEW watch alongs, his gaming stuff, all great stuff there. And then you can also find all the replays for his gaming stuff at youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find him, Mr. PJC, who has returned to the world of video game streaming. You have Rick Jules, and then you also have the wonderful Kayla J guesting in on some of their games.
Kayla J! Love Kayla J.
Melball, where can they find you, madame?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow her on that X thing at Collins Melball, and you can follow her on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Mastodon at Melball Collins. You can also find me at our local establishments programming Paramindful with Alex the Werewolf and the gold standard Carl Carafel. We're going to be recording again very soon, but you'll want to go check out our Aliens special, because aliens, they apparently exist, my friend. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I didn't until a couple weeks ago when the government confirmed it.
Hey, I mean, if the government confirmed it, it must be true. So you want to go take a listen to that. You can also find me on Astra Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we are doing our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We're hopefully going to be doing another one very, very soon, hopefully talking about the multiverse a little bit more in depth there. But you want to check out our latest episode where we talked about the AEW women's roster, the state that it's in, and Lufisto's tweets that came after Astrid's article that caused quite the stir on the X thing. I'm still getting used to not calling it Twitter. Strange times we live in.
The interwebs.
And don't
forget to check out all the great content we just talked about at NJPW-World.com. It will not be in the after the end of the month, the link will not be down below because YouTube is going to stop allowing links in descriptions. So
No
just check
way.
it out. It's right there. We have it scrolling across the bottom. NJPW-World.com. Check them out for all the great New Japan content.
Yes, yes, yes. Do I have to do the price? Did you do the price?
Oh, it's $10.
990 yen, or approximately $10 Canadian, but according to their website, it's actually $7.15,
There you go.
which is still a great price to watch a month's worth of amazing wrestling and have access to their that backlog of all of their amazing wrestling that they've had over the past couple of years. That being said, my friend, do we have anything else left to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We should also quickly say happy birthday to you because it's your birthday today.
As we
Happy
record this,
birthday!
as we
Recording
record
on
this
your
is my
birthday,
birthday.
working.
Yes. I'm. I've worked so hard today. I laid in bed, watched wrestling, and felt crappy. That's my entire day. I'm doing
It's
all my
fun with
birthday
life.
celebrations on Sunday because me and my mom were both sick today, so we're gonna just do all that shit on Sunday.
Works out in the long run, hey.
Yep. Hmm.
That being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.